Floresco. I write stuff in podcasts too. And today is a drink and draw. Two amazing artists and me somehow are in the same position here. So first is I'm going to introduce them in from middle to my right. First off is steampunk extraordinaire, like artist doing some kick-ass stuff in the Hawaii Con. Is it this weekend?
Not HawaiiCon. I'm doing some shows at the local bookstores,
Yeah.
um, just to help raise funds for a charity organization.
What
But
charity?
yeah,
What charity?
it's called Aloha United Way. What they do is pretty much help distribute PPEs to local clinics, and then they also help with like food drives. So whenever you get like pandemics, of course, and any disaster going on the island, Aloha United Way is there to help. So yeah,
Which
we're raising funds to help them out.
which is really cool. And this is the incredible Anvu. That's first. Say hi everybody to An. And second, this is her first ongoing Kickstarter. I think it's an ongoing series anyway. It just reached funding, so and she really doesn't need much of an introduction. It is the great Mog Park, Game of Thrones, and now artist of Snowpaw. How you doing tonight, Mog?
Doing great, man. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, I'm always happy to have you guys on the show. I'm a little worried that I'm the. They said I joked that I would be the adult in this one because I think of the three of us, On is probably the most adult of the three of us normally. Probably. So, but I figure like I'm gonna be like what I don't know what I'm gonna be tonight. I'm just gonna be here to kind of watch and just try just let go whatever you're. Actually, you know where I should start? How did you two meet? I've always kind of wondered that.
Uh,
You want to
should
take
I?
that on? My memory's not
Okay,
that good.
so what happened is that I just moved to Oahu back in 2016, and then I think I met Mog around 2017, sometimes like midsummer or like late. Um, but we, what happened is my dad happened to find this one poster that was of local cons of local artists on a military base, and he was like, "Oh, let's go," and I was like, "Sure thing, of course. I need new artist friend. I've never had," and then so I just went and checked it out. And I went past like a bunch of artist tables, and it was very nicely set up, and everyone had amazing stuff. And I did the loop twice. And on the second time I came back, I noticed what drew me to Mog was her portfolio, where it was just very detailed. A lot of it was like detailed, fine sketches about ships. It was the ships that drew me in, actually. That one page. And then I came up to her and I noticed her last name was Park. So I was like, 안녕하세요. And then that led that one phrase led into like a 2 hours conversation. We went on talking, and Cat was it Mog told me about the story of the boy who drew cat, and yeah, that's kickstarted everything.
So so from your end then, Mog, how did you guys meet? Did you you said it from her end? Is there anything different from yours?
No, it's
Yeah.
it's about the same. It was just that when she showed me her artwork, I was just really blown away because it was very it was a very strong portfolio, and I was just blown away. And then I remember going around to all the other artists and all the people around me, say, "Hey, look at this girl's work! It's so good." So that's about. Well, it was more like I was impressed by her. So
Well, no,
Oh no.
you're really good. I mean, I mean, like honestly, and I actually owe both of you a bit of a debt of gratitude, but for different reasons. Um, Mog, you're one of the reasons I actually am drawing right now. Like, if I hadn't, it started with JD Estrada meeting Mog, and it's like, and then eventually, I think it was not the first drink and draw you did, but the second one where I posted something just because I was drawing with somebody. It's like, you're out of excuses now. You got to actually do something for us. It's like, okay, I guess here I am. So I've been drawing for nearly a year now. So
Awesome. Yeah, I've been seeing that on your Instagram. Um, it's just full of what's it, practices that you've been doing. That's wonderful.
yeah, I mean, I got a long way to go to get to either of your skill levels because both of you are really, really good. But it's no, it's been a fun experience from my end to just meet and grow as a person, right? Because you don't get that. You don't get, like I said, it's really just for me. It's an opportunity every time I'm with either of you to learn something. So it's very cool. So thank you both.
Right on,
And
man.
some
Right on.
excuse to have some drinks. Well,
Yeah. I won't. So so my next book, An's actually getting in a big acknowledgement for it. She's been quietly a beta reader for it without actually like just accidentally. So I told her about it on like a week ago that she was going to be a beta reader. I almost that one. I think I made her kind of shocked her a little bit when I said that. So.
yeah, I was at Marshall. I was trying to get some markers. I need to be able to see. I don't want to be walking around the store with like, oh, and what's wrong with this girl? She's crying. It's like my friend treated me.
Yeah, just it's just one of those things where I mean, hey, like I said, I'm always grateful for the people that help me. Even if it's just even it's an unintentional thing, right? It's just one of those things
Right.
where you recognize that no one does this alone. I mean, that's the one thing I've learned about like the art world is no one is everybody. It feels like a lonely job sometimes, but the truth is that's almost never the case. So
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Uh, I mean, like Mog and I, we um, pretty much a lot of times when we're doing, say, stuff for comic pages or projects that even we can't show each other at times, and we're grinding away in our room just by ourselves for hours, right? And we have deadlines, and it does feel very lonely then. But when you get out of that and you're at the end, it's like I can finally see my friends. I can talk, and I I can actually sit and watch Squid Game with them or something like that. But it's yeah, it can be lonely, but outside of that, you still have friends. So yeah.
yeah, and both of you been busy as a bandit. Like I said, so Mom, you've been doing. Are you on the second issue of Snowpaw already, or are you doing other things right now too?
I'm working on other stuffs, other work I have to do. So yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. So the same thing, I imagine, like you do have a pretty good support group yourself. So with everything you're doing and stuff like that. So that all said, okay, I'm gonna ask a fun question for both of you, and then we'll start drawing and just talk about whatever comes up at that point. So, what have you two learned from each other? Because one of the things about like doing like these kind of shows, events, and stuff like that is like we all have things about the other that we admire. So you mentioned a little bit about detailed stuff, like, but you guys have worked together also quite a bit throughout your time. So I imagine you guys are things about each other that you've taken from each other. So I'm just curious what that is.
I think for me, what I learned from Anne the most was, I would say, just um, efficiency, like time management, efficiency, productivity, her general attitude, and how she organizes things to so things get worked out pretty well. She's super. I think that's just like natural of her to just crank things out, and then her mind is very organized. So unlike me, where I don't think like that, and that is always constantly a very learning experience. So I really appreciate that part about her.
And I mean, it's pretty much. I think we kind of balance each other out because Mog is very detail oriented and she takes her time to pretty much process a lot of the information and then take that and combine it to create the best result that she can. And that in a way reminds me to slow down. So I'm she gotta speed up, I gotta slow down and actually take my time and reconsider, where I'm placing things, how to, what kind of materials to use. Like, heck, she's so knowledgeable about like the media that she uses, like even the paints, right? I got like a sweet little package from her of like her jewels paints, and she's done research on them. And I personally haven't gotten to that point where I've done that research, but all those little details, whether it be the media that she uses or the elements that she adds to the drawing, they all add to the story. And it makes it way more valuable, the piece that she creates. So, yeah, I'm learning that from her for sure.
So, yeah, actually, I will say this. When I look at Mog's stuff, first off, hi, Robin. Hi, Rob. Nice to see you guys. Welcome. Yeah, how you guys doing? Just going to slip that in there while we can. And everybody else, feel free to comment. I will, given the chance to comment, I will do this, right? But no, it's actually like, it's interesting. Like both of you, Ma, like I almost feel like in your case, like you love the world building almost more than the actual characters you draw. Because the details you put in some of that stuff, it's just like, how much did that? Like it's deep. Some of the stuff I've seen in some of like your designs and stuff like that. It's just like, wow, I never would have thought of that stuff. So. And silence. It's all good.
Oh no, sorry. Did you ask a question? Or?
No question. Just conversation.
Yeah.
A little secret. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it's amazing. Just the details she put in there, and the main thing is that they contribute to the story. If you really take a look at her work, every single piece, even like dated back to Kurt Sauer's Spectres and Savanians. If you look at the tarot card she does, pay close attention to all the borders work, or even just what she includes in terms of colors wise, like why she chose certain colors. They all mean something, and that's what's great about it. It's not just a pretty picture, even though she said I love creating pretty images. It's like, oh, it goes beyond that. But yeah.
Sorry, Josh, I didn't know you were actually asking a question. I thought you were making a statement. So,
so as a general rule of thumb, I'll let you guys in on a little secret. I did an interview about like 8 years ago at this point. God, been interviewing people for 8 years. Actually, I've been interviewing for very longer, but 8 years ago, I had a gentleman by the name of Simon Rose. I had like a whole list of prepared questions made, and he was just so entertaining that I actually looked at the questions I had and I literally threw them away. There was really no point in asking. Like he had chosen a direction, and just like the smart thing to do was just to dive in with him and see where it was to go. If you've noticed, like when I do interviews with a lot of people, I don't actually ask a lot of questions because, again, when in terms of a conversation, it doesn't feel natural, right? It's much better when it's more of a natural give and flow. I do have some questions prepared, but I generally speaking just kind of want to see where the conversation goes. And I'd rather just people be themselves, because this is the other thing too. If I just do questions and answers all the time, it doesn't feel like a real conversation.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So I'm just going to get some comments really quick before we start the drawing stuff. Robin says, I appreciate that both of you are great people to bounce ideas off of. And she mows deeper. You come up with, I don't know who you're referring to, Robin, Mog, or On, but you come up with ideas and concepts that I wouldn't have. I used to think of writing as something that should be a lonely job, and now I really appreciate seeing new angles from you two. So I don't know who she was originally referring to was, but no, it's true. Everybody can do like the same thing and see something completely different.
Yep.
It's all right. So, what are you guys drawing tonight?
I think I'm gonna draw some Final Fantasy.
Same here.
For my drawing bid.
I'm gonna try. Like I've had a crazy month, in a bit. I know some very quietly something I've been working on for the last few weeks that I can't actually talk about on the air. So that's been eating up my time for the last little bit. But I'm hoping to get something done tonight. Maybe it'll be good, maybe it won't be, but I'll get something done. So how about you, on like same thing, Final Fantasy 14 for you as well?
No, because my brain is not where. The thing is, I've been pretty busy with some of the pages and getting some of the drafts to the publisher. So one of the projects is actually what Mog is gonna be a part of. Is called let me get that right. Valak. It's under an arc of Hellbringers under Mayhem Production with Mark May. So we will be working on that. She'll do a cover. I'm actually doing a mini story in the back of that uh, for a side backstory for two characters. So I'm doing that, and the first part of the book would be done by Brett Okamura. Now that's the cool thing about this project, is that it involves a lot of Hawaiian artists or like Hawaiian base, right? And you got Brett Okamura, Andy Lee, you got John Murakami, myself, Mog. So it's like you got a nice pack of people from the island to work on this book. And the cool thing about this book is that, as far as I know, now we all just know a little bit about it. It almost feels like the Marvel universe where like the actors only know their part of the script and only tiny bits, and then we will see the big picture when it's all combined. So that's the cool part that I've been uh, seeing with the process. But yeah, it has a bunch of mix of different culture. Mine touches up on the Japanese culture, and it's a great battle between these two characters that becomes arch nemesis, and everything eventually goes back into hell. Hence, the overall title is Hellbringers. This is just an arc of that whole series. So I can't wait. Mog has done a cover for it before, and so can't wait what she's gonna do this time around too.
That sounds
But
like fun.
yeah, it's just been busy with that, and I know Mark has been busy with some projects, of course, like Snowfall, right? And yeah, so I don't have any brain power left. I'm gonna do some steampunk art that I have prepping up for November. Uh, Mind me plugging here, actually. I have
Dude,
some.
go ahead, keep plugging. This is what this is for.
Yes. So I actually have this printed out. Let me switch. Let me switch this because I actually have a show tomorrow.
Sure.
Um, let's see. Okay, you guys can see it here. So this is the thing that Mog and I are gonna be a part of. That is actually hosted by a dear friend called Chi, and this is an virtual autumn art show that is steampunk based for original art, and what it is we have to draw a bunch of original steampunk art, and 30% of the profits we make on this would go to the Society of Women Engineering to fund their scholarship. So and it's also Hawaiian based, so anyone who wants to partake in this as an artist, feel free to message me, and then I'll redirect you on how to sign this up. But we only ask for 30% to go toward the scholarship fund. So whatever else you want to make, that's on you. But yeah, Mark will be involved with that as well. So hence, that's what I'm gonna draw today.
All right. Hold on a second here. So me, I'm going to be trying Mr. Dark Knight from Final Fantasy 14. I don't know if I'm going to get to pull that off. I got a couple different angles to draw with him, but I'll definitely show that off as time goes on. Right. So that's what I'm going to be doing. A couple comments. So apparently Mel goes Final Fantasy again, and he's laughing. Robin says both of them have seen the usefulness of brainstorming, and yeah, I mean definitely, there's so many ways to tell a story and to see a picture. And how like what for me, it's like I don't know if it's the same with art, but with story, when I write a story, it's about what you don't say out loud that actually tells the story. Is there an equivalent to that with what you feel with like penciling and illustrating? Like what you don't show is as important as what you do show.
Definitely. For me, yes. What you don't show versus what you do show. So if you want to talk about literal sense of like art technique, of course you if it's something is further in the back or in darker lighting, you don't want to work on the details in that. It takes away from the details that are important in the front. And the way you draw, so depending on the scenes, like say the character is was it having some kind of like aggressive feeling toward another character, so the way they sit or the lack thereof like interaction with the other character, to say like there's more distance of that character sitting on the sofa away from the other character, shows that space. You don't have to show that, oh, they're gonna be arguing or like stabbing each other. You can show that distance, that they're sitting apart, and that can still show that tension, like that dislikeness between two characters. So that's something, it depends on the case by case for me.
Fair enough. So, question there for. So, a couple things. Mel goes, is there a page for the virtual Autumn Art Show?
I'm not entirely sure. Let me check on that, and I'll post it out.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
And
see.
Robin goes, that's an interesting point. It's like in a movie, what you don't show is filled by the viewer's imagination, and I tend to agree with that. But I mean, that again, I'm always fascinated by how a story is told, because that kind of just gives away how, like, in terms of that always like how you tell a story is how the reader's going to receive it. So as I get older / wiser, I guess, I don't know. That's kind of the things I actually think about. So, but that's me. So.
Okay, let me post the link for you guys here. There you go. That's the form for sign up, I believe. Right there.
You want to just send me can you private message me that so I can put it on that's cool for the Google form there. Send that to, actually, hold on a second here. Maybe I can just do this here.
Right there. It's in our private chat here. You see it.
Here you go. It's in the Facebook chat. I'm just going to put this into, excellent. This way I can put it in the Twitch chat as well, because, Twitch can come in and say hi as well throughout the show. But yeah.
So, let's see here. Mark has been working on Snowfall, and it's been kind of weird lately, where my mind is actually fuzzy right now, because there's just a lot going on for the next 4 weeks, from what I know, and you guys are gonna see a lot of crosswork between Mog and I, and a lot of other artists. So, like I mentioned before, we got, of course, Balak. That's we're working with Mark May and the Mayhem production, and then you were gonna see Dustin Brunel, Babe Gore, and Dinosaur. And
Nice.
just for the record, it's not a dino porno. It's not. So we're gonna have fun with that.
No dino porn. Okay.
No, it's a lot of lizard people. Just think of Star Wars. You have different kinds of races and species that interact and live together. So it's a whole city of those kind of beings, and there's a sort of like, I guess, like the only thing I can say is like it's like a mob syndicate ish, and there's a story based around that. So. Yeah,
Cool.
I hope everyone can like get on that when it does come out. But again, like I think it'll be interesting. Mog, this Snowfall was her first time doing interior, which I found out on in one of the show, and I was like, no way, it's not her first time. It's so amazing the kind of work that she did. So I can't wait to see what other projects that she'll be working on under the interior next. I think it's just going to get better and better.
Well, that's always a good. I mean, that's a great problem for both of you to have. So Mel is asking what you have going on this weekend. We brought that up really early on, actually. There, Mel. and we'll definitely get a chance to plug that in again. Definitely in the days and actually before this stream comes to an end, we'll definitely be plugging everybody's stuff. That's important. So that is for sure, for sure. But to everybody watching, listening, thank you for watching, listening. So we're gonna. Now this is a logistics nightmare. I'm not quite sure how we're gonna flip the camera around to show everybody's drawing. I literally am just in a new place.
Oh,
Although I literally moved a week ago. I literally moved a week ago, so I'm still figuring out everything out. So for one of my projects, I can't name at this point in time. Yeah, I don't know how to do this. What I got, I'll do this later. Figure this out later. I'm a professional, ladies and gentlemen. I almost know what I'm doing, almost. But no, I like with the move. It's like we were doing a filming. We were doing a filming on. We were doing a filming for that project I can't name. So, well, goodness, I'm in this place, right? So we were filming around 10 o'clock in the morning. So the light just bursted through. It was a pilot / like rehearsal. But yes, one of the comments was the light distracted us from the actual the content we were doing. It was just like, oh, the things you're learning about in a new room right now, in a new place, and how it works and lights and stuff like that. So. But yeah, I'm glad for both of you that you guys are incredibly busy and doing just amazing things, because honestly, you both deserve it.
and like you say, being in a new environment or trying out new things, it has its learning curve, and both Mog and I are going through it. But Mog, I know the interior work is new, but is there some kind of new challenge that you're seeing on your end as you're working through these projects? Mog, yeah. Do you have any new challenges? Yeah. No. Yeah. Forget him. I'm talking to you. But just kidding.
Yes. Josh, you do also amazing work. Yes. What did you learn?
Well,
doing Snowpaw. I would say definitely the recent project like Snowpaw. More just like storytelling. Because I mean, yeah, this is like my first comic, so, and also just working collaboratively with a writer intensively for this long, because I have worked with writers before, but it was never this long where it start from beginning to end, every page, cover all of that. That was very interesting. And yeah, collaborative teamwork, management. Again, Rob is an amazing guy. He is, I think one of his greatest strengths is he's very organized in a way, and he plans things ahead. And on top of that, he's very kind of like you are, and he's very also like visionary. So he thinks also in very visual ways. So working with a type of person like that, that's different, that thinks and operates differently from me, that in itself was a huge learning experience. And I really like that. I like how I can constantly interact with different types of people, and I always learn something from it. I know you guys might be thinking, oh, like I learned some kind of new art skills or art techniques, but more than that, it was actually just the interaction and how they are and how their lifestyle is and all of that and their principles of life. That really intrigued me, and I learned from that as well, and I grew as a person. So yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, it is teamwork, and I was picking that up from my end, working with Mark, right, on these pages as well. The stuff that, even though you guys think that we're artists and we can draw these amazing stuff, but we still need that second pair of eyes, or that directiveness. Like I've noticed with Rob, he helps you with the panelings and turning the scenes, right? And that's what I've been picking up on my end too. Now, the new thing for both of us, I think, was storytelling. It is in itself a very different creature. It's not just drawing pretty pictures. You gotta connect the scenes, and this does tie back somewhat to what you said earlier, Josh, about like it's important what to show and as what not to show. There, it's like, did you find Mocked where there are certain scenes that you felt like um, you wanted to put in there because it's pretty and it's nice and it's powerful, but there are times where it just doesn't fit.
Yeah, because I mean, when you guys if you guys get the book, it's actually it's not all just pretty and all of that, because I mean that is just the setting of the tone, but the overall tone of the comic is actually a bit horror, uh, action. And when you do horror and action, um, yeah, you have I had to do a lot of different motion choreography and expressions and all of that, and you guys will see it if you ever do buy the book and read it. But yeah, there's a twist. I know I'm probably spoiling you, but yeah, I think in that way, I guess. I'm sorry. Did I answer your question?
No, no, no,
No,
yeah,
no, no, no.
you
You did.
did,
Um,
yeah,
no, like it's even true with like when writing. Like there were things I really wanted, like just like with my current work, there were things I really wanted to use, but they didn't fit. Like, and I put like a whole bunch of crazy ideas in there. Like I do like I don't know how far On's gotten into it, but I was putting stuff in there like undead hydras and really, like really crazy dragons and stuff like that. But there are things I just thought wouldn't fit,
yeah,
and wouldn't go. And you have to make you have to figure out what serves the story, right? Yeah, Robin's saying, like the old saying, you have to be able to kill your darlings. Editing is an important part. Yeah, because ultimately, at the end of the day, what you're looking at is you got to figure out the story you're telling, right? Not
yeah,
it's not. I mean, I can say something really really cool or draw something really really cool, but if it doesn't fit the story I'm working on, right? If it doesn't fit the story I'm working on, uh, then I'm not doing it for any really good reason. And if I'm not doing it for any really good reason, then what's the point? Like it's you learn as you get older. It's no longer about. It's not just about like the unicorns that part rainbows. There's got to be a reason for everything that's there,
yeah,
right? Or it just doesn't. It just doesn't fit. It does. You just like it. It detracts from what you're trying to do. Ironically enough.
exactly, exactly. Yep. That is key not only in storytelling but art overall.
Well, I
And
always. I sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
I always think art, no matter what kind of art you're doing, is still storytelling. It's because you're still communicating a message of some kind, right? So,
Yeah,
so the question is, what is the message, right? Whether it's like scenery, because even scenery can tell a story if it's done right, right? Sometimes it's just, again, what isn't there, right? What happened to maybe the people in a place if there's nobody in a village or in a place where you exist. Sometimes it right, but or it can be like an advertisement. An advertisement can tell a great story, right? It's
yeah,
solving a problem of sales, but it's still like it's still storytelling. You know what I mean?
yep. And that's the interesting thing for me. Because I grew up in Asia, right? So I read a lot of manga, and it was mind-boggling to me when I first moved here, and the overall emphasis on storytelling is that you gotta tell it or deliver it within the first 6 pages. And in manga, I believe in the way they do it, but the kind of stories is more emotional and they drag a fight scene, say, um, on longer throughout like several pages. And whereas over here, it's like there's almost a rush sometimes to like get it done in just like 1 or 2 pages. And I guess it depends on the story overall, right? But that's one of the differences that I've noticed.
I'm actually a big manga fan. I'm right now. I'm reading Spy X Family. That is hilarious. Um, I like the fact that they build like manga, although it's silly and some it can be very silly sometimes, right? Um,
Yeah.
right. I, I think manga does some of the better character stuff right now, which is interesting. Even though there might be a bit of a tried and true formula to it, I always get the sense that um, I always get the sense that there's a conscious attempt to make the characters interesting, try to hook you into whatever is going on, and you always get like this. You always get, although it's slower than um, Western comics, right? You also have more room to breathe and add layers to the characters, right? I don't know if you could do Full Metal Alchemist as a comic in English because it would require too much speed. What made that book so good was the gravity of the situation and the time, and they invested the time to tell that story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But when you look at the it's like what goes into either both manga or comics, it makes you want to actually value them both differently.
Absolutely.
Yeah, two sets of different skills, almost.
Almost. There are
I mean,
some. There
if
are
you
some.
guys ever read the Understanding Comics,
Yes.
Mhm.
it kind of does touch about the difference between manga and comics. And one of the thing about manga is they have more expression and emotion, and they tend to linger on the emotion for a long time.
Yes.
And whereas comics, they kind of just go gloss over the emotions and then compare to manga. I'm not saying they don't do that, and then they just get on right onto the action. So
Yes.
I actually had a chance to be taught by Scott McCloud, and I took advantage of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I
he
just
did it. Sorry.
I just picked up his book. I still haven't finished reading it.
So
I know it's
he
a
would.
very easy read.
Yeah, no, he. This was last time I lived in Calgary. He actually came to a city out here called Lethbridge, and he did a 2-day seminar. This is way before I thought I would ever try drawing seriously. This is me as a writer going to his course because it's just smart to look at what an artist does and understand kind of as much as you can, just the ability to try to get into an artist's head. Because again, I've said this in the past. Artists do a lot of heavy lifting in the books. So understanding how to help them tell the best story they can, and even just to get a perspective on that, that's I thought was a very important thing. So I spent 3 days in Lethbridge to be taught by Scott McCloud.
That's sweet.
cool, man.
But you always got to take advantage of the opportunities you have, right? So.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
Any opportunities you get to learn and improve. I think that's part of the fun of it. That's why like some of us just keep going at it because we enjoy that learning process.
Absolutely. I'm never too old to learn, and I'm never too old to say that the older I get, the less I know. I don't know, maybe this is one of those middle-aged and crazy things, but that's kind of how I feel. Because it's like now I'm like, I know this stuff, so now I can try all these different ways, and sometimes I'm like, yes, I'm a genius, and other times it's like, no, I'm really not a genius. What am I doing?
You're not the only one. I'm sure. Yeah. A lot of people feel the same as you.
Yeah. I just think that, as we get older, we just realize that there's so much just left to learn. And we don't have time we'll talk about that in just a second, Robin. Like, you have so much that you can learn and see and do, and as you learn more, like, here's an interesting one. Have you ever found yourself having to unlearn a skill
Unlearn a skill.
or unlearn an assumption you had about what you were doing?
Yes. There's many. I guess there are many things that you end up. Let's see. So I think when I first started like going into comics, right? I don't remember who exactly it was, but I was often reminded that it's like you gotta learn it right the first time around, or else you're gonna build these like bad habits as you go forth. And so there were habits that we all had to unlearn at some point if we had learned it supposedly wrong. Um, for me, what was it? I was told continuously, like in high school, like I love my professor, but he hated it whenever we use a mechanical pencil. So I was taught to use these guys, these babies. But over time, I learned just how much you can do with these finer tips, and there are ways to use them that would work for your drawing. So then I had to start learning how to use certain strokes or certain techniques with these finer tips, the mechanical pencil. So it's like that's one of it, but there are plenty little things that for myself I had to relearn.
Yeah. How about you, Mog?
Uh, for me, it wasn't much about technique. It was more for skill. It was main. If it was a skill thing, it wasn't that I was taught wrong. It was more as if I forgot about it, and then I'm relearning that. But assumptions, usually, in my opinion, are subjective in a way. So that's like an emotional thing, and I would say people-related stuff or certain beliefs or values. Yeah, of course, like in everyday, um, as we just grow older, I mean, that's gonna change. I don't know if you meant it in that way or if you meant
Sure.
specifically skill technique wise or something like that. So yeah, if anything, it's not assumption. It's just more of a, oh, there's a new way to approach this. As in, I'm talking only specifically about skill. So those are interesting. Where, for example, instead of just pencil, why don't you try color pencil and using the same kind of color pencil, I would depict the drawing now, like stuff like that. I mean, so I don't know that, but not very much when it comes to skill and assumption. Maybe it's because of all the expensive thousands of dollars art supplies. I just need to learn that, right? But yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's put some things in perspective, right? But no, I always ask because no, like one of the things I've been learning in the last little bit. I do listen to some podcasts too, and one of the last ones I listened to dealt with the concept of incompetence, and one of probably the best lessons I think because it was based on a book of psychology that came out in the 50s, or no 70s when it came out. And one of the best things about messages in that whole episode was don't fall in love with outcomes, right? Just don't. Instead, just keep an open mind and keep constantly learning. It's when we fall in love with outcomes that we close our minds to possibilities. And I really liked that. Like, so it was just something that rang very true with me. So now it's just like, again, just one of those things I'm constantly learning is, okay, it doesn't have to go the way I think it goes. And I don't have to worry about that. I just got to worry about the effort I put into it and trust that it'll work out in the long run.
Right.
Anyway, let's take a quick look, get caught up in some of the comments here. So Robin goes, comics like Day Tripper are just emotional and more heavily character based. I did not check out Day Tripper. I kind of regret it. So you have to write what you know. Not true. Hey, I completely second that, Robin. I never write about anything I know. I make it up as I go along. Hold of my secret. Mechanical pencils can get you things with those finer tips. I do better eyes, lips, and noses better. That's from Mel. And good point. And yeah, there's some great indie comics out there right now. So I'm just curious with everything. Hey Doris, how you doing? Right. I'm just kind of curious right now. What are you guys reading if you have time at all to read? If you don't, it's totally understandable.
Reading. Wow, what's
This
that?
is mine.
Yeah.
Watchmen. Picked this up not too long ago. This is where's my bookmark? This is pretty much how far I've gone into it. Like a couple pages. But I haven't watched the movie or anything. Heard it was really good. So I mean, and plus Alan Moore, right? His writings are amazing. So I wanted to actually hop on and start reading this. Eventually, I'll get into more of it.
That's fair. That's fair. That's one of the best 3 books of 1986. The other 2 are The Dark Knight Returns, which most people know about, and the one that most people don't tend to dismiss, and they shouldn't, is American Flag by Howard Chaykin. Because between all those 3 books, pretty much is the foundation of how comics are done today.
Oh, awesome! I didn't know about the other and that last one. American
Most
Flag.
people, most people don't. In all fairness, it had some incredibly stiff competition. I mean, seriously, I would not want to be out the same year as Watchmen and Dark Knight. It's like, okay, that's
Exactly.
it's like who? But all 3 books, I mean, show you everything that's possible to do with the medium of comics, and I think it's amazing. Amazing looking at it and going like, wow, like these people are masters. And Mel goes, loved American Flag. If you like that, try Life Scares. Ha! Really, Doris, your mom's name on another stream. That's cool. But you're famous.
Wow.
Yeah,
I know
wow.
this is totally segueing off of it. It's kind of going on a tangent.
Go ahead.
I used to read so much books ever since I was a kid. That's why I lost my eyesight. Is because I was just reading books. You could not get me away from a book.
Yeah.
And I remember one day, and also I was the queen of procrastination. I would have said the empress of procrastination. Like no one could beat me in procrastinating. And one day, I still remember this. I was, I think, around 28. I was living in the middle of nowhere in Midwest, like some kind of hick town. And at that moment, like my life was not that really happy. And on top of it was 2008, so it was what was it? Like the economic crisis and all of that shit. And I was jobless and everything, right? And you know what I found myself doing? I was still reading books. I had stacks and stacks of books, and all day from morning till night, I'm just reading books. And I remember, I thought, damn, will I ever get over this addiction? Because even to the point where Mel was saying, dude, you want to be a writer or you want to be an artist? What the F, man? Like, you are reading way too much. You're wasting your life away. You have to live life and experience life, not just read about life. And don't get me wrong, it's not I was just reading fiction. I was reading nonfiction as well. I was just reading about everything and anything. I just could not stop. And it just made me super worried. Like, I thought, I still remember when I asked that question to myself, I thought, I can never do this. I can't get over the addiction. I'm always just gonna be some queen of procrastinating and never do any art and just keep reading. But I don't know what happened. But I look back at that now, and I don't really even want to read a book. I mean,
There's,
it's
I get
like
that.
I can actually say it's all right, it's fine. I got work to do, and it's just the weirdest thing. So what I want to tell people who is ever listening to this is there is hope. If you ever feel like you cannot get out of that addiction circle, and you feel like you're in this ditch and no one can take you out, and yeah, you are right. No one can take you out, but eventually you yourself will get out of it. So there is hope. It will take years. It will like take 10, 20 years. But don't give up, and you will get there. Because one day I just realized now when somebody asked, "Hey, do you guys read any books?" And I just realized, oh, I don't read books anymore. Huh.
See, I'm not with television. Like, I'm
I've
not
come a
with
long
television,
way. Yeah.
right? I don't. So I do read. I do read. I still read. I don't read as much as I used to because I just don't have time, right? So I we're gonna catch up on comments in just a little bit here, just a sec, guys. But I'm just gonna finish my point, and we'll catch up on some comments. But no, I find that like especially when you're starting, you're devouring absolutely everything you can get your hands on. And then at some point when you start creating, there's just that point where it's like, well, I can do this, or I can create stuff, and then you got to like, and it's almost like you become an adult, and it's like, I'm gonna create stuff because I don't have time to read. That doesn't mean I still don't read from time to time, but it right. It just means that there are priorities, right? But it sounds to me like maybe this is what it was when you were younger and being the procrastinator of procrastinators, you're also devouring like stuff to feed your imagination a little bit, and then you just hit a point where you're like, I don't really need to do this anymore. I don't know. I mean, I feel that way with television for myself. I'll probably never watch Squid Game or any of these other cool shows because I'm just not cool, and I'm okay with that. And and but it's just time. You eventually come to the point where you're just like you're creating stuff all the time, and you just don't have time to look at stuff that you would used to do the same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I understand what you mean, Josh. But
Yeah.
when I look at it, I think the reason why I got out of it, I don't think it's because I grew up or anything. It was more as if I know you just said this, and I kind of have to disagree with you when you said don't fall in love with your outcomes.
Yeah.
And what happened was, even though I was the empress of procrastination, whenever I did put my work in, I did put my effort in, and I did eventually produce something because there was Mel, my husband, pushing me behind, like whipping my ass, like, do something with your knowledge. It's like, oh, okay. And it was like a torturous journey. But the more I saw things coming into fruition, the more I thought, oh, okay, I like this. You know what? I'll do another one. And then suddenly money starts getting involved. You have no time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I gotta say, that in that way for me, it was outcome based, and it's a fascinating thing because I saw this happen again to another person, and he really sucked at drawing because obviously he never drew before. But he said, I have the desire. I was like, okay. So I gave him a couple pencils and a sketchbook, and then 10 years later, I asked him like, hey, did you draw? I was like, oh no. So okay, but I guess something happened, and one day he started drawing, and then he showed me, and it really sucked. And I said, oh, good job, keep going. And then after a while, he kind of quit again because he thought this is so hard, and And then after a while, another 5 years passed, and then he started drawing again, and he started to draw a lot more. I noticed when he was getting compliments, when he was actually seeing his work and his outcome was good. And that's how I think, in a way, it's good to see what you produce and then move on from there, not just in your head. So I don't.
So, okay, I think I'm going to clarify what I mean by outcomes. I think that might make this easier. I no, getting encouraged by other people is huge, because there's definitely that point where you start like, I don't know if I can do this, and I can see this and think this, and getting like encouragement from people is always huge. It gives you that permission, almost like permission, but almost like that will to go, I can get to the end. What I tend to go by is, I kind of like, I have 8 rules to success. So the 4th rule is the rest is rain. The idea being is that I can do everything right. So and then I want to get to this point. I'll get to comments here because we're a little behind on some of this stuff. What I find is, like, especially even though there's money involved, like, I have to create a specified result. But sometimes when I do something, I discover something better, and I give myself like that ability to go, okay, this is better than what I have. Let's see what the client wants, and if they're good with it, like, go for it. Or, if the comment is specified, I keep doing what the specified job is. I don't have a problem either way. But what I mean is, like, the accomplishment of doing something, the feeling of finishing a task, seeing it through, that's huge. But where it leads you, I have been very much led by the nose with everything I've done. My failures have often led to my successes. And the things I thought that would work out didn't. And the things that I thought wouldn't work out have led me into places I never imagined. So I just, like, what I mean by the outcome is, the end result, I worry about it, but not to the degree where it's like, even if this fails, it'll lead somewhere. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But it's important to try, for sure.
The interesting thing about that word failure is that, to me, I know this might come off really wrong and could rub people the wrong way, was I actually hardly had any failures. And I look back at it and I'm wondering, why was that? And I realized the few times I had failures was when I didn't put everything, when I didn't go all in. So as long as I notice with myself, if I put everything and I put all in, I don't know, it just works out. So please guys, also don't rely too much on, oh yeah, I'm gonna keep failing. Please just also in the same tone, put your bloody effort. Putting that bloody effort.
All right, so let's get some in comments. I definitely want to keep going down this line. So let's see. So basically, we're talking about. Mel, gotta make time. Mel, where I feed my imagination is video games and comics. That's where I feed my imagination these days. I just find that I only have so much time in the day, and I enjoy video games more than I enjoy television. I know that'll make me forever uncool, but that's just the way it is. Robin, I'll definitely check out the books, and same with Mel. I'll definitely send me the recommendation, like show me where to get it. Like, you send me a link, I'll definitely take a look at it. American Flag is a brilliant book, and I love Chaikin's take on it. And let's see, did I forget anything? Give me a second here. Just trying to see here if I forgot anything else on there. I may not have. I don't think so. But I'll keep going here. I that's the important thing. Like, I tend to agree with you, Mog, on one thing. Failure isn't really failure if you. Some of my results have not gone the way I imagined it. Now, sometimes it's on me. I wasn't ready for, like, where I was. Like, just something, I had an opportunity and I didn't hit a home run because I made a mistake, and I'm okay with those kind of failures because I still learn from them. Like sometimes not being ready is an I feel that's a very forgivable sin, quote unquote, right? I just find that with it's important that no matter what you do, like whatever it is you do, you give the absolute best you can, right? Absolute best you can. You show up and do everything possible to succeed. I just something I read from Colleen Doran, and I would agree with it. The paradox of success is you can do absolutely everything right and still not get what you're going for. But if you don't do everything you can, those steps necessary, you have no chance. And go with what Mel said in there. I agree. If you're doing that, like if you do everything possible, the effort's there, you do everything you know how to do, you never really failed. You just didn't get necessarily the results you wanted.
Yeah, I feel like when you put an effort,
Yeah.
like actual physical effort, and you produce something with your own hands, it's physically there. You have something physical. And maybe in the beginning, like a Kickstarter, you didn't do well. But look at Rob's story, his Stoppa. He did it first. He put his all, produced that thing, and his Kickstarter failed. But what he did was he still took those books and went around cons and had a sellout almost every con. You were talking about like selling 100 books per con. So what happened to him was, oh, okay. So in his way, it didn't come immediately like he wanted to, but it did come eventually in a different way. So I agree with you. It's like whenever you put your bloody effort, I'm talking about to the point where you're coughing blood, like that kind of effort, guys. If you do that, I believe you're planting a tree. It's a seed, and then that seed is going to take a while, but it will give you something back. It will give you a fruit.
It always will does give you something back. It's not again, what I've learned, it's not always what you expect. And that's not always a bad thing, right? Sometimes you get like this wonderful thing, you're like, well, how did I get this? And that's when imposter syndrome can really tuck the head too. It's like, how did I do this? Right? And then you fall into the trap of expectations. Like, oh man, can I do this again? Can I rise to the top of the mountain? Like can I repeat my successes? Can I match what I did? And that can cripple some people.
And for that, the best advice I've been given with that is just do the damn work.
Yes,
Just
absolutely.
sit down. If you start doing the work, eventually you'll get out of that rut. Because feelings are temporary. Feelings are instigated and it's temporary. So what you feel at this moment, you might not feel the very next second. So just what matters is what you have put down or put out already in terms of work, because that will continue.
Absolutely, I agree with that 100%. But the first time it happens, it catches you by surprise.
Yes.
Yeah, caught me by surprise.
It's like falling off of a bicycle, right? You fell once, you know how painful it is, and you know what to expect, and knowing that you can get back up. That's the main thing.
Well, yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Like sometimes it's not the failure of falling. Most of us know what it's like to fall on our butts. Like we all have good practice at that, right? It's when we do well that sometimes really surprises us. I think. By the way, Robin completely agrees with you on, just so you know. But it's one of those things where I have found, like for me, I found success was harder to deal with than failure because of the expectations that came with it. And what I had to learn how to do was to let go of those expectations to some degree. It's like, you know what, I'm here, and I shouldn't run from this good thing that's happening to me. I should embrace it and enjoy the ride, however long it lasts.
Right. Because I think there's that again, I've been taught many lessons in life, and there's another one is if you scare yourself too much or you play too much expectation when you're just starting out, even on just a new projects as well, or whatever task you're trying to get done, you end up pretty much what do you call that? Having paralysis by overanalysis of
Yes.
things.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think I'll always go through that once, and then hopefully we get wise and stuff. Sometimes that's the hope.
Sometimes.
That yeah, that's the hope anyway. And then you learn from it and kind of just move on. I hope anyway. So I don't think I'm ready. I'm ready for Final Fantasy 14. Just it. Sometimes you do something and you're like, I got this, and sometimes you draw something and it's like, I'm just not there yet. And sometimes it surprises me what I'm not there for yet. Sometimes it's like, okay, I bit off a little bit more than I can chew at the moment, but that's okay. It's always fun to learn.
Okay, okay. You made me realize a better way to say it. Okay, Josh. So
Okay, I'm listening to you.
the reason why I was a queen of procrastination was many reasons, of course, but I think the biggest one was I'm not ready yet,
Mhm.
and I think that's why I consume so much. I feel like I don't know enough, so I gotta keep studying and become better at it, and then I will do the final performance.
Yeah.
That was the big trap. Yeah.
Yes, no, it is. It really is. Like the I'm not ready thing. It's almost self fulfilling. Like it's ironically self fulfilling because if you do believe that, well, then you're not ready. That's all there. That's all there is to it, right? In my case, it's trying something I'm not. My current skill level isn't quite there yet. That doesn't mean I'm not going to try and draw it because I mean, how do I get there? I just do it anyway, right? Even if it's not perfect the first time, it doesn't need to be perfect the first time. I can learn from the experience, right? So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm not trying to be, yeah, that's that, right? I'm not afraid. Again, if you aren't, if this I think was for me, I wasn't ready to draw until I realized, you know what? It really doesn't matter if it's good or bad. What matters right now is that I'm doing it. Now it's going to matter more down the road. I'm going to care a lot more down the road. But right this minute, it's just about learning, and that's fine. That's where I'm at right now. I've seen many people more talented than I am stop themselves from what you're talking about, though, Mark, because they believe they're not ready. No, I actually went. So I'm doing a dragoon. I'm trying to do a dragoon anyway, and because I always was
a dragoon or a dragon?
Dragoon.
Dragoon. What's a dragoon?
Yeah, so I don't know if in 14 if they have this, but like in classic Final Fantasy, they would be characters with the jump command. They would attack with jumps, and they're almost like they're good. They're like unique style fighters with like really neat abilities. Like dragoons, like, they usually have some kind of like a lot of their tools are dragon based, dragon related, like dragon swords, things of that nature, and. I always like a good the best example of dragoon from a video game that most people are aware of is Sid, right? Sid from Final Fantasy VII is a dragoon. He jumps, he attacks those giant spears of his. He's a classic dragoon. But oh, that's a really easy way to figure that out. Oh, I learned something already. Yay!
Yay!
Yeah, diamond drawing full shapes actually teaches you how to mesh. Who knows? Maybe Spider-Man always intimidated me a little bit because I'm looking at all his like webbing and stuff. Like that's a lot of detail, and I just realized something really. This might make this easier. This might make this harder. I might still want to kill myself when I try to draw Spider-Man someday. It's like if I just draw the shapes of the webbings in there, That'll actually save time.
That's the thing about drawing too. I've always said it's like you can break things down into basic shape. Um, what you're drawing, when you're drawing, you're pretty much trying to understand what it is that you're looking at.
Hmm.
And when you can fundamentally break them down into basic shapes that you recognize and understand, it makes it easier to recreate and construct.
Yep.
So it it really is just about understanding what you're looking at.
Yes. King? In six there, Robin? I thought in Final Fantasy six there was no dragoon. It was just like you could make any character a dragoon in that game. Are you thinking five or four? But no, and going what you're saying there, what you're absolutely saying there. Tor says, "Yeah, no man doing another Spider-Man for sure." Yeah, it looks like he looks intimidating, not because of the basic shape, but all the webbing just looks really, really like ah. But upon thinking about this, like, wait, maybe it's just a bunch of big shapes made simple over time. It might really be that easy. Probably isn't, but I'll still try it at some point.
Yep. I
Ooh,
mean, once you get that down, pretty sure you can draw it while drunk.
yes. Okay, there's gotta be a story to that one. There's a story there. I know there's a story there.
No, not
No,
really.
no.
It could be. It could become one. But it won't be my story. It might just be your story.
Oh, okay, okay. That's something I'll ask you off the air, son. Sometime. Tell me about your drunken Spider-Man story. It's like, no, it's not my story. And just like, okay, sure, I believe you. I believe you. It's hilarious. That is hilarious. No, but I mean, I think in a year of doing this, some things I thought that would be super hard to draw were easier than I thought, and some things that were super easy I thought would be super easy to draw kicked my ass. Something fierce. It's like I have great. Pardon?
Oh no, I said I feel you.
Yeah, Lego kicked my ass. That's the one thing that kicked my ass for sure was Lego, and I did not expect that.
For me, it was okay. Worse than Spider-Man would be Doctor Strange. His freaking magic circles. I recently did a piece on that, and I was like, it's missing something. Yes, some magical circle. This is gonna be dope. Halfway through drawing it, like the innermost circle, I was like, screw this.
That's
I was
awesome.
being
Yeah, Doctor
fancy.
Strange. Yeah.
Yeah. I was being fancy, trying to do the double line so that it's like transparent in the middle, so that it glows and whatnot. And I was like, oh, screw this! I erase everything and just do the single lines. I was like, yeah.
Oh god, that's a lot. That's awesome.
I'll draw Spider-Man any day over that Doctor Strange again, or his specific circles.
Yeah. So I know you answered the question. So again, I get the feeling you're much farther along the journey than we are there, Monk. But I'm sure is there anything that you still draw that occasionally surprise you how hard it is?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah. So is there anything? Is there anything that you draw? Like you've done a lot of different things, but is there anything that sometimes like there's anything recently that you've drawn that surprised you how difficult it was to draw?
Did I find something difficult while I was drawing?
Yeah, no, recently, like, it was still something that you look at. I think this is easy, but then just like, no, it wasn't as easy as I thought it was.
Let's see, recently. Recently I think because I drew a lot of women most of the time. So when I was drawing once, oh gosh, there was like Sephiroth on a poster that I painted. That was a tough cookie because he was weird where he's androgynous in his way, his face,
Yeah.
but his body was kind of masculine, and that kind of threw me off. And I remember kind of struggling with that. So it's funny. When Anna also said, I relate to you when you said the things that you thought were hard, and then when you drew it, you found yourself, oh, actually, I can do this well. And then the things that you thought were easy, when you drew it, you thought, oh crap, this is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, that actually happened to me recently. I was drawing some kind of architecture, different perspectives, just recently. And I thought, because I haven't drawn architecture for a while, so when I drew it, I thought this is gonna take forever, man. And when I ended up drawing, it was pretty decent sketch. I thought, this is not hard as I thought it would be. So I realized some of the stuff where you think you're really gonna be bad, usually for some reason you find yourself that you're pretty good. I don't know why. So
And then some of that stuff you think, ah, I got this. Life hands you. Life hands you your butt. That's just how it goes. It's just like, okay. And goes back to something I said earlier. I have no idea what I'm doing at this point in my life. Sometimes I just don't know. Sometimes like, I don't know. It works or it doesn't sometimes. And I do agree with you, Robin. Final Fantasy VI is the best Final Fantasy. Although if someone said 7, I would not argue with them.
if you say that to the Final Fantasy 14 people, not quite sure, Robin.
I do like 6 because the bad guy wins. It was really well done how they did that. So, and it's a fun game. It is actually a pretty fun game, all things considered.
Do you guys think these kind of, because like Final Fantasy is pretty long, right? And the whole series they got. Do you think they would like one day combine it and say make a movie or live action, some kind of stuff like that?
You might be able to live action the first game. You might be able to. It's not really a very complicated plot. It's a fun concept. It's a really fun game, but it's not a plot that's gonna break people's brains watching it.
Mhm.
But I feel like when you get to like beyond maybe Final Fantasy 2, the Japanese, once you get to like 4, 5, 6, 7, I don't think you could do a movie of them. I think you'd have to actually do a television series to do them justice. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So because 7 is such a complex game that they did back in the day that also, to be fair, Square is cash grabbing. I'm not gonna make the argument they are cash grabbing. It's such a big game. Like for today's standards, it could literally be 2 or 3 games. There's just so much to that world. It's doable and feasible, and it doesn't feel like you're cheated if they by this time. Like sometimes they'll take a concept and they'll stretch it. Like the Hobbit movies were probably a little stretched, a little too much.
Mhm.
But like a Final Fantasy, like if they decide to do Final Fantasy 7 or 6 as a television show, you get 12. You could probably get a decent season out of 6, probably a decent couple seasons out of 7. I'm playing 8 right now. Not the best of them, but still a good game. Right? It's one of those ones where it's like the same thing. Like the stories are just really, really complex, and it's why I've been doing video games more than actually I've been doing television. It's like a complex story I can be a part of. So I kind of feel like when I watch when I do video games. So.
Oh, I wish I could get into video games. There's no time for it right now.
No, I get it. I totally get it. Sometimes it'll be weeks between games for me, but then I have to choose between weeks between games or television, and television almost always loses. So it's just it's just a medium I've worked in a lot, but I just don't have the desire to watch. I don't have the patience anymore. Mm.
Sometimes I feel like I do a disservice to television, or like, well, yeah, television overall, because like I have to pay attention and like put my eyes on the piece of paper, right? So I tend to just listen to the movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I totally get that. I totally get that. That's why I went to podcasts, actually. I just gave up the whole thing of trying to keep up. Like you just can't. If you're creating, you're too busy creating. You don't have time to. You don't have time to partake as much. And when you do
Yeah.
partake, you got kind of picky and choosy.
Yeah. Well, for me, the thing is, when I watch movies or watch a TV show, I get so in the mood of it, even though I'm like half paying attention, right? But I get when it's done right, I get actually very involved into the story, engaged, I rather say. Um, and you feel like you're still with the movie when you're done with it, or watching it already. So now you gotta go back and draw. Say like I just finished watching uh, say the Joker, right? The most recent movie with the Joker. It's very intense. It's very psychotic. And then now I have to go out and I have to draw. One of the drawing bit back then was the Pokemon, and it's all happy and smiling. And I'm like, uh, can I make Pikachu into a Joker? Can I put a Joker face on Pikachu?
I would love to see your Joker Pikachu. That would be badass. That would totally be badass.
Actually, it would. Yeah, it would
Yeah,
have been a fun piece. Yeah, but
yeah,
you know
no.
what I mean. It's like you get out of a movie and it gives you a certain feel, and then you gotta jump right into another piece that's like, oh shoot, I gotta turn on say another episode of Pokemon Adventure or something and get into that mode.
Although
Yeah.
if I were to Jokerize a Pokemon, if I were to Jokerize a Pokemon, it would be Meowth, and Team Rocket would be like his Jokerized minions. Because I
Oh,
think that
that'd be fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
Meow? Not even
yeah, make
Mewtwo?
Meowth like make like a Joker, right?
Yeah. Huh.
I think it'd work. I think it'd be like because I mean he's treated as a joke for most of it, but you could actually like he's actually got some brains on him sometimes, and when he does, you're like you may imagine him a little bit differently. He actually could be dangerous.
Yeah.
So make him a killer clown, and make Jesse and James his unwitting you know Joker slaves like
Servant.
Joker,
Yeah.
but that would be I just traumatized like half the Pokemon fandom right there, I'm sure, but that's okay. But Joker's an interesting character. He's a force of nature more than he is a human being. He's an absolute, which makes him very compelling.
He embodies he's one of those characters that embodies certain ideals or certain thoughts, school of thoughts that we can relate to.
Mm-hmm. That we can relate to, but we can't fully be because it wouldn't be human.
Yeah, well, there's part of us is like we understand why they do certain things, and then but we don't condone their action.
Yep, indeed, this is true. Hold on a second here. First off, Robin agrees that Yeah, the Joker Pikachu would be a thing. That would actually be a fun little theme. Jokerized Pokemon. That could be like really fun, actually. Might try one.
Go for it.
Yeah,
Take
that's
it.
right.
Go for it.
It's like, but yeah, no, it is like interesting when you watch something that gets you really, really into a certain mood, and you're drawing something like, I'm drawing something really happy. Damn it! I gotta calm down, and then you're like, well, what can calm me down? And it's like you look around, it's like I guess it's Pokemon itself, or Care Bears, or I don't know.
Well, do you guys like drawing cute stuff or happy stuff?
Yes, sometimes.
What about you, Moth? Do you prefer drawing something that's like emotional, intense, or you like the happier, mellow feeling in your pics?
I don't know, Mock heard you.
Did we lose her audio?
I don't know. I don't know. Mog, you there? You there?
I was
She
talking the whole
muted.
time, and I thought Thomas was.
She muted herself.
She muted herself. Yeah, okay.
um.
Repeat your question on just so she.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
unmuted.
it's like
I'm not muted now, so yes, I'm good.
do you like the happier stuff or drawing happy things, mellow things, or like intense feeling?
Not really happy, but not I would say disturbing. So if I see something disturbing, I find myself trying to lighten it. And if I see it a little bit too lighthearted, I find myself making it a little bit serious. But I would say it's more balanced. But I would have to say my drawings tend to be happier, because now I think about it, I didn't really do much horror or anything disturbing. Okay, all right, I decided, yes, it is on the lighthearted side. Yeah.
Lighthearted side.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's why you got, like you mentioned this earlier, like you get into violence and horror. That's probably the appeal of Snowpaw. So you get the ability to get involved and do something to push you a little bit more into the darker ways of things.
Yeah, that part was interesting because there was a scene in the it's like one of the climatic scenes, and when I turned that in, Rob was said, "Whoa, that's even more disturbing than I imagined." So
So it's a win. You scarred Rob for life.
it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, yeah, it's okay. Well, I think the thing is, I think any of the and this again, I'm not saying I'm anywhere near to this point. It's just something I've realized. One of the reasons why I've been so interested in working on expressions so much is feelings of like joy and like really like extremes one way or the other. They're the hardest. I think maybe the hardest things to express because you have to commit to both, or if you don't, like if you got something really malicious and evil, it can also come across as really corny because who's going to take this seriously, right? But if you commit to it, you can frighten people. And happiness is almost like it's so sappy and so almost unbelievable. The people it could very easily dismiss it, but you can actually get joy on a page. You got something very special there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where storytelling maybe could come in and help with that. So yeah, definitely, yes.
Absolutely.
I actually struggle with drawing joyful stuff. For me, it's always the stuff I tend to be drawn toward First off, they're more intensive. So if you look at my uh books collections, they're all like very serious or like very intensive books. So I guess I don't really know much, or like I don't really own much of anything that are lighthearted or like I like cutesy. Like I can draw cute, but like it's something that's happy or genuinely looking happy. It's harder for me to depict for some reason.
It's I guess this is gonna sound like maybe a weird analogy, right? Um, I couldn't really do a love scene until I actually fell in love, like really fell in
Mm,
love, because I didn't fully understand the emotional context of what I was trying to do.
yeah.
Because there's not like if you've never been in love, you'll never fully understand what that feels like. You can have some idea because of but those stupid songs, those really stupid sappy songs that you think have no meaning, they will have no meaning until you actually are in love. Until you actually are in love, and you're like, I get this. Oh shit, I get this. Right? Um, Joy is really hard. Humor is subjective, but it's a little easier because you can do some really you can actually make your humor quite hysterical and dark at the same time.
Right.
Um, but when you got like a joy, like really like that moment of pure unadulterated happiness requires a certain vulnerability because to share that joy, because you're almost like afraid to share it because it's such a precious thing that you're afraid that if you share it you'll lose it, right?
Mm,
It's because it is like true joy in this life is one of the rarest, like it's a rare precious thing, it really really is. And when you have it, it's almost like, again, it's one of those like moments in life where it's like, wow, this is such a rare thing and precious thing. And so until and it requires being vulnerable in a way that you people understand pain, like people definitely understand pain, um because everybody's been through pain, everybody's been knocked on their ass. um People can understand humor. Again, humor is a little bit more subjective, but people can kind of get your tone, if nothing else, right?
right.
But joy, that only doesn't require feeling that feeling of happiness. It requires a willingness to share it, and
Mm,
that can be. It requires being vulnerable in like a really really specific way, and again, it's hard to do because it is so rare. Um, Will Wheaton, whatever you may think about him for his Star Trek stuff, he has his blog, and he used to write about playing Dungeons and Dragons with his kids. That was what he wrote about, and he sold a lot of books, partly because he's Will Wheaton, but also because he writes like that. Those scenes are pure joy, and they feel a little corny, but not really. It's just him. He loves his son. He loves his time. He loves the moment, and he's able to capture that in his writing so perfectly that
right.
it's truly a hard thing when you're doing it, again, like, it's an extreme, but it's like it also requires a bit of on being a, I'm okay to share this, I don't care what anybody else thinks, this made me happy, damn it. That's hard. That's a hard place to get to.
That makes sense. Like I always thought like it was harder for people to come out or like always look upon as something great that people come out and like share stuff about their hardship or like the struggles or stuff um they went through and how it affects them and their work and whatnot, but don't hear too much about a lot of well personally I haven't heard too much about people sharing their joyful experience and that being as just as powerful for others to tune in or like also get to know.
it's such a beautiful thing, but it's so hard to do. And as a writer, I just realized like it's so easy to get like corny with it. It's so easy because there is a certain sappiness to it. But if you can do it, right? If you can do it, like you're great. As a writer, you're just great. Because that might be the hardest thing to do as a writer.
Right. What
Angry scene.
character are you drawing, Mog? Sorry.
I don't know.
You don't know
They're
what you're
just
drawing?
curious, Final Fantasy 14.
No, which character from there? What
It's
you
not a
drawing
character. I'm
specific-
just drawing a location. But
Oh.
but the thing is, you know that the joy thing, and you guys are pondering like about it. It's like such a huge, like serious thing. But joy
Mhm.
is nothing serious like that. It's actually pretty effortless and easy. And the biggest thing with joy is for at least for me, it's you just share it, and then when I share, and you do good, of course. Like for example, simple example is I cook a meal and I make it special, and I see Mel enjoying it, and he's happy. I'm happy. I don't know. My heart feels light. You know,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
sometimes we watch a movie and we watch comedy and we laugh together like so hard. That's joy. I mean, stuff like that. It's, maybe you guys are depressed.
No, 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 I think I actually agree. I agree with you. It is very simple stuff. Like one thing I did for a little bit is like remember I did 10 people appreciation post, right? And it's a simple thing, but no one. I mean, I'm maybe openly crazy. That's definitely part of it too. But I, you know, I reckon it's just a simple joy. It makes someone feel good about their day. It's a very simple little thing, right? But to write and put that stuff on in art is like it's tricky, right? I a lot maybe it's overthinking, but it's like I find pain is the easiest thing to express. Humor is I got no problem writing silly. I do it all the time. Um, but with humor, there's a certain there is almost always a little bit of a I always equate humor to rebellion. You're kind of rebelling against something joyless and finding joy in those moments. So there's a little bit of darkness to it, but pure unfiltered joy to write it and describe it in a way that people can feel it. That I've always found to be a little trickier to do. But you're right, joy is incredibly simple, and maybe that's part of the fun of it too. Simplicity I find is almost never easy. So.
Hmm.
That's my big, deep philosophical thoughts on happiness, ladies and gentlemen.
My
It's just
conclusion
depressed.
in that,
Depressed.
yes.
It's just
What?
depression. That's what it is, guys.
Did we just
Yeah.
get diagnosed?
No, we might have been diagnosed. It's okay. It's okay. Honestly, like my current situation, I'm actually quite happy. I'm like I can't really talk about the project online, but I've broken through as a. I'm going to be making 5 figures as a freelancer next year. I think that's a really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I can't talk about the whole deal yet, but it's just like something I never thought I'd do, but it's also something that I've been kind of training to do, if that makes sense, without even
Yes.
consciously realizing it. And it's been fun to have that little guarantee. And if I can get one more job, even just one more job like this, I'm a full time. I can make a living full time as a freelancer. That's not bad. Like I'm very happy that my hard work and my efforts are paying off.
Right.
That's very good.
Yeah. And also I get to wake up to those mountains every morning. That's awesome.
Yeah, those are pretty where you're at.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just got really lucky with the location. Mountains really do feel good. when you look at it. It's like,
No, like yeah. Well, where I am is I'm about 40 minutes from Calgary, Alberta. I'm in a place called Canmore, and yeah, just wake up every day like mountain. The energy, the peace you kind of feel at a mountain. It's just like wow. I had been away from Alberta, and I was in British Columbia for about 2 years. Come back, it's like I forgot what this felt like. This feels great. Why did I leave?
where's Alberta?
So on your map, you'd be looking at Montana, Idaho. Um, it's just Montana, Idaho, the Dakotas, going toward Oregon, and BC is Oregon, Washington, California.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah, not too far from you anymore. Not as far as I was anyway. Maybe next year I sneak a visit down. I go across the border and sneak a visit down. I am an American citizen as well. Beaches are nice too. Mhm. So what location you doing, Mark? Do you know?
Um, Eorzea? Eorzea? No. No, no. Eorzea is the country, the world itself. I don't know what the heck. This is Limsa Lominsa. Yeah. They have so many like just long names. Final Fantasy 14, man.
Yeah, it does. It does. Like actually, all the Final Fantasies when you get past, I think 10, even 10 has like these weird names.
Fancy.
Yeah. Now, yeah, Robin. Just to answer your question, I grew up in Lassitude. I've seen mountains in the distance. They're at my front door. I literally go outside. I can look up and see a mountain. So there's too
Stop
many
bragging,
ridiculous.
Robin.
Yeah.
Come on, Robin. Yeah. Hers is nice. She lives like on the hill, so yeah.
Yeah.
Very beautiful view, especially I think during New Year's and 4th of July with all the fireworks. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Well, in Hawaii, we get both the best of both worlds. We got the beaches and we got the mountains.
I'm actually tempted to move to Hawaii just to make my sister jealous.
It is very expensive though.
It's okay. I've lived in BC, British Columbia. It's BC. The other meaning for it was bring cash. And it was the truth. That's the other nickname for it. So,
Isn't British Columbia Canada?
Yes.
Oh, it's okay. The visa, whatever.
I'm dual citizen. I'm dual citizen.
Oh, okay.
I'm dual.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm dual citizen, so I can cross both borders at will. It's one of my secret superpowers. And Robin says, yeah, the great thing about Alaska too, and we saw the Aurora Borealis, which in northern Alberta you can see, not where I'm at. But anyway, I think for now I'm gonna keep working on this. These dragoons are hard, man. But hey, again, you learn and you try some stuff, and you get better at it. I'll show you guys what I did, just because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it definitely didn't turn out quite right, but I definitely tried. So, lighting in room makes this difficult to do and see.
Tilt it, yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah. First time, didn't quite get everything right. The face threw me off the first time, but it was one
That's
of those
pretty
things.
good.
Yeah.
No, you got the mechanics down.
Yeah. Yo, I owe you a bit of that of gratitude. You definitely made me figuring out how to do hands a lot easier for sure. So, and I appreciate that.
Basic shapes.
Anyway, I think, yeah, just looking at your stuff here really quick. So, who are you drawing, Mom? She's got a pretty nasty gun there. It looks like she's going to anyway.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, just one of my steampunk girls. I'm not gonna review who they are yet, but there's 6 of them. Um,
Jeez. Yeah. That one looks like trouble. That one is trouble. That one is trouble. I can already tell.
I mean, she got it aiming.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got 6 of them, and the cool thing is they all connect. And I will review when I'm done with them how they connect. I have till November, or actually pretty much next weekend. I have to do the Final Fantasy by next weekend too.
Yeah. I'm gonna be working on different things. I tried the Dragoon because again, my favorite character class of all time in Final Fantasy is the Dragoon.
Yeah.
So, but ooh, I guess that'll be a fun little bonus since I get the feeling you're a big fan of the Final Fantasy. What's your favorite class?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't really play Final Fantasy, so I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
No, it's okay. Don't be sorry about it.
Yeah.
Don't be sorry about it. Like you said earlier, we only have so much time to do so many different things. So I totally get that. So, but I do think if you guys are wonderful and ready to call it a stream, we definitely could if you guys would like.
Right
That's
on.
After this, I'm just gonna go eat.
Yeah, no, me too. And also I have a friend I haven't seen in 2 years is out there, so I'm gonna go see him. As Mom, do you mind showing what you're, or is it too soon to show what you actually see up close? Because I'm actually really curious what you've done.
I really don't think you guys can see what it is. It's kind of weird, like guidelines and stuff.
Can you pop her?
Kind of a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like you're building
You
a
won't know
world.
what it is. Don't worry about it. Don't stress your brain.
I'm never gonna.
I'm not stressing my brain over this, so.
We're gonna see it at the end of next weekend, anyways.
Yeah, that'll be cool. That will be really cool. So why don't we go from left to right on? I'm gonna put the link up you sent me again. Tell people about the steampunk project and what you're doing this weekend.
So the steampunk project is here, Virtual Autumn Art Show. Again, it's Mark and I are going to be a part of it. It's pretty much what I've been drawing this whole time. Just steampunk original artwork. It's going to be up for sale. I'm not going to just do an auction. I think I'll do a sale, first come, first serve. And 30% of what I make is going to go at least 30% is going to go toward the Society of Women Engineering Scholarship program. So, yeah, any artists interested, go ahead and contact me. Now, I'll redirect you. And for those who are looking forward to buying these ones, it's going to be up on November 5th to 7th. And Moggy's going to have her pieces there too. Hang with me. There's gonna be quite a bit of stuff that I have to tell you guys about.
No worries.
Tomorrow, what I'm doing is actually this. It's called Stronger Together Project that we're raising funds for Aloha United Way, which is local here on island. Anyone who's on island, please come by and visit us at Other Realm on Nimitz. And it's gonna run from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Go ahead and check us out. You're gonna see the original piece of artwork. I've never done this kind of collaboration before, but it's between 3 people. We had little to no communication other than the ones online using a ruler to match up all the pieces. So it was interesting to do that, but it's a fun little project we did. And the prints for these are also available online. What you do is just basically contact me. The prints go between $20 if you want like a connected prints, or if you want separate prints, it's gonna be like 20 each, or all three for 50. And the original art is also up for grab. Also can contact me about that. I do have my ongoing cover here at Totally Rad Monsters with Jim E. Noble under Totally Rad Comic. It's still available there under Cover B, and it's gonna have a new cover that's gonna drop very soon, very soon. It's also gonna be done by me. Um, but yeah, that and what else do I have? I'm trying to think.
It's all good.
Oh, and this piece, of course, yes. Mark and I did this. If you guys remember, this is the tribute piece that we did for a local artist who passed away. That's Free Isabel, and it's gonna be $20. You can get it through me. The original artwork are also available. I have the painted version. Mark has the original line work. You guys can contact us. The proceeds will go toward Free's family. That's yeah, pretty much our doing for the Thanksgiving of this year.
That's all good. That's all good.
So yeah,
All right.
Yeah,
So,
That's a lot.
concept.
Mark.
Awesome.
So what are you up to, Mog? What are you promoting?
Uh, well, let's see. Oh, what should I promote?
I wonder.
Okay, guys, please check out Snowpaw. If you guys don't know what Snowpaw is, I'll just give it to you very simple. It is, if you guys like late 1800s, Scotland, female werewolf. There you go. And don't worry, it's not going to be like Twilight where it's romance, okay? We don't have that. It's very innovative because you really don't see much of I would say you don't see much of the a werewolf where the character is female, and this is where it is. So it's like badass, and just get to see just lots of action and see how a female werewolf's perspective is. And this werewolf is very pretty. It's pure white.
She's a badass. Like I said, was my favorite character of the Nightwolf series. Like just definitely made it a lot more fun. I know there's links in both the Twitch and the Facebook for everybody to click and follow as the season goes. I'm going to put this back to where everybody's together. Guys, thank you. This wasn't as rowdy as I thought, but then it would be really hard to top how Mog opened up the last episode. That would have been really tough. So
Really?
I know we
I'm
just
sorry.
scared you before we came.
no, nothing to be sorry about. Like honestly, I owe you both. I'm just gonna say I owe you both a debt of huge gratitude, Mog. I never would have gone down this road without you, so thank you very much. And you're awesome. I really, and you were like my first major lesson, so I appreciate you both. And I still got a long way to go, but I've enjoyed the ride so far, and that's been the thing. So to everybody watching, listening, definitely support these two amazing ladies in their many projects. I am proud of both of them. They're kicking all kinds of ass. It got to make me step up my own game. So check out their works, check out their projects, contact them, say hi. Also, just the last thing they didn't mention, they are doing a draw and bid. That is Final Fantasy 14 theme. That's what I was doing, and that's what they're. Well, I don't know if On's going to be able to make it this time with everything he's got going on. But yeah, draw and bid is the theme of Final Fantasy 14. Definitely check out Mog's Facebook page for more details and information. Beyond that, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you want to support this podcast, you can do so a bunch of different ways. Support Rodney Fikes Hasm Productions. He's sponsoring the podcast this month. He's got a good thing called Roadkill Rampage. Book Golem by P.D. Oliva, as well as out right now on Amazon. Definitely check it out. And Jenna Green, there. I'm professional, you can tell. Jenna Green and Wiggers the Well-Dressed Wombat is available, coming out November 8th. Definitely check all those out. As for me personally, I got a couple projects I can't talk about just yet, but one I can talk about is Alice 1 comes out December 1st. It's written by yours truly and illustrated by Kenzie Carr. It's awesome. The first book, Alice 0, was nominated for the Elgin, so who knows what this one would lead and go to. So support that, support this channel, hit the like, subscribe on my Twitch, hit the like, subscribe, enable the notifications on my YouTube, Joshua Pantellaresco. I think that's everything I have to promote. So for everybody watching, everybody listening, have a fantastic weekend. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, either way. Anyways, take care of yourselves and have yourselves a great weekend.
Good night, guys.
Bye.